the guy like, oh yeah, I had that before, and so he didn't have a good experience because it wasn't explained to him right. So we could have easily said, okay, no, we understand. But I said, no, let's talk about it. I said, because he knew the law firm, Riggs and Abney, he called him by name. So he knew what he was talking about. And right. So I sent him an email or whatever. And probably within 2 weeks or so, he emailed her back and said, let's go. Let's do it. But it's because, it's like, so then you don't got me on recording now. So anyway. We'll talk about it. Hello.
Hello. David. How is everybody? Good evening.
Good. How's everybody?
David, I did like you tonight. I did a blur. Look how he looking.
What happened?
Every night he's sitting there so perfectly in his blur.
Oh.
With his background. Yeah. My background went away on my thing. I don't know why.
Yeah, I think sometimes it does that. I'm not sure why it does that either. Sometimes it does. It kind of goes away. Like even all your options will go away sometimes. I don't know what that is, but it does. Well, welcome guys to the CDLP weekly Zoom, our sales motivation Zoom. Proud to have you guys on as usual. We're going to be getting started here. We're going to start with our introductions as usual. I'll get started with Sharanda. Let's do her introduction first, and myself. Lamar will be jumping on late. We may or may not have Randy today, but we've got two individuals who are going to be speaking on the call, Miss Jody and Miss TJ, or interviewing or some kind of style. We're going to have them on the call, but we'll get it figured out. We'll have them on here to talk about the experience that they're having in the field. And we're going to also address a question that was asked on the CDLP Zoom, CDLP Facebook page, just to get some clarity on that so people understand exactly how they should be dealing with certain things in the field. So whenever you have questions or circumstances that you don't know how to work out or you need answers on, remember, always go to the Facebook page. We do look at that page. And sometimes we don't answer the questions on the page because it takes more of a conversation and for us to have a conversation on this call where everybody's getting information at once instead of just addressing it with one person or two people or maybe 3 or 4 people that may be making comments on one specific post. So we're going to be dealing with all of that today. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Miss Sharanda Ivy first so she can do her introduction, and then we'll get moving into the information.
Thank you, Dunbar. Appreciate it. My name is Sharanda Ivy, guys. Good evening. Hope all is well with you guys. We're at mid-month. I hope all you guys are halfway through your goals. But I'm Sharanda Ivy. I'm from Byron, Georgia, which is an hour and a half south of Atlanta, Georgia. We've been with LegalShield now. We just celebrated 8 years back in June. When I got started, I just was looking for an opportunity, and this opportunity showed up, and got started, jumped in, and I was unemployed. And so just focused on being a full service associate, didn't want to leave any money on the table. But a few years ago, got focused on the CDLP space. Just felt like every time I played over here in this industry, I did well. And actually, I love the industry, become a student of the industry now, and just love helping these companies. So we've been blessed to earn the Production Achievement Award for over 1,000 personal apps, named 2019 Ladies of Justice Field Trainer of the Year. And we're Solution Sapphire Associate with one of the top small biz producers for the company. And just guys, just love to help you guys, whatever your goals look like. The two ladies that we're going to share tonight, I can't say that they plug into the accountability call that we host, but they definitely love this call here because it's a coaching call. They learn a lot of a lot of things here amongst this mastermind. But on Thursday, we do mastermind, and, you know, they just learn from each other. I learn from them, try to help them with whatever things they're dealing with in the field. So if we can help you in any kind of way, definitely don't hesitate to reach out to us. And we'll be able to connect with you and try to help you reach your goals. So with that, Dunbar, I'll pass it over to you.
All right, fantastic. So I am Robert Dunbar. I've been with the company for 13 years, been training on the networking side for about maybe going on 7 years, I would say. Training on the CDLP side for between 3 and 4 years. And one, I love to train, I love to help, and I love, you know, working with LegalShield when it comes to the networking side, when it comes to the business solution side, the CDLP certification side. It doesn't matter. We really love working with you all. We really love working with the products and working with the people that we're able to protect with the membership. Like Sharanda, I really saw value in the CDLP side because one, those truck drivers, I like low hanging fruit. Anybody know me? No, I'm LHG all day long, right? If I'm a salesperson, so I want to be able to help a person as much as I can. And to me, we can do more for a driver with the CDLP plan than we can with any of our other benefits, because those drivers get hassled all the time. And when they get taken out of the business, out of their space, it affects us all. It affects us all because truck drivers are how we get everything. So when truckers are being harassed for whatever reason, we know sometimes they may do some things that's wrong, but when they're being harassed, it affects our deliveries getting to us. And we think that sometimes they get the short end of the stick. So we want to be able to provide them with law or with attorneys that can provide them adequate legal protection on the road. And that's what we've been able to do through LegalShield. And that's what we've been able to do by opening groups and helping some of you all open groups. And we're going to talk about opening groups and getting safety manager appointments. But the first thing we're going to do is we are going to address a question that was on the Facebook page. And hello to you too, Sharon. I know I put you on the co-host. I'm speaking to you because I know you didn't get a chance to let everybody in because I pulled you in kind of afterwards. So thanks for moderating and helping in the background and answering questions throughout the entire hour every week like you do, and for letting people in as they come in one at a time. So we appreciate all you do in the background here too. So most of you all know who Sharon Holiday is. She's a field trainer. She works in the CDLP space as well. So we are going to tackle this question, and I'm gonna pull a question up, but before I even pull it up, I kind of know the gist of it. So we're going to address the gist of it, which is whether a trucking company gets lower insurance rates just because they have a CDL product in place, or whether they're actually getting lower insurance rates or stable insurance rates because when something happens, they have an adequate attorney dealing with the violations and citations, which organically keeps them from getting raised insurance or unstable rates, if that makes sense. That was really the gist of the question, because it was a confusion of, are we saying that a trucking company, just because they have our product, the insurance company is going to come in and say, oh, wait a minute, Sharanda Logistics, they have LegalShield here, CDL plan. Okay, so we're gonna keep your rate stable because of that. And we don't want you guys thinking that, because that is absolutely not what's going to happen. We're talking about more on the organic side, meaning that when a driver gets a ticket, citation, violation, because if we can keep the points off the record, if we can get an order dismissal, if they data queue it and it works out correctly, right? All ifs, right? When that all comes together, then when they get their insurance review, because those bad hits aren't there, organically it won't go up. So that's kind of where I see that going. But I'm gonna turn it over to Sharanda because she's a little bit more deeper in that logistics part of the industry, so she can talk to that some more too as well. So Sharanda.
No, you hit it right on the head. So I think it's about language, first of all, and you have to know what the plan actually does. So Dunbar, is correct in everything he just said. So you've heard us and many of us say that, I think it's in Lamar's script, we have reduced insurance rates. Well, how that works is when we say that is that if you have a program in place, and when you get, these violations and the program helps and it decreases the points that goes on the driver's record, you have a better outcome when you renew your insurance, that your insurance would be lower because you don't have those many points. those, violations that go against the record. And so that's how the decrease in insurance rates can possibly happen. There's a lot of things go into, insurance, and I'm not an insurance person, but when we say that, that's what it is meant, that if you don't have those violations and the points that comes from those violations on your record, when it's time to renew, then that helps decrease the insurance rates from rising, sometimes. It could be other factors and that may not even happen. But if you don't have any program in place and the violations are there, you could cause yourself to have increase in rates, or, it could affect your insurance rate some type of way. So it's about language. So it's not guaranteed that it will be decreased, because it could be other factors, but we know that if you have a program in place and those points are decreased off your driver's record and off the company safety record, it gives you a better chance in those insurance rates, being lower or not raising at all, but it's no guarantee. But we know that if you know how the program works, we decrease those CSA points after the data queue and all that has happened, and they get that positive outcome in court, and we do that data queue. So all the pieces have to fit together, and we giving the company a better outlook on having a better outcome when they renew, in hopes that they'll have a better outcome. We're still nothing guaranteed. So it's all about language and understanding how the product works when you're talking to those companies. So having the proof there is not something that we have. We don't have proof of that unless you have a client that writes a letter that says whatever. But other than that, no, it's no proof there. And that goes back to just knowing how the product works in general with the client and the company. I hope that makes sense. I hope the person who asked that question is on, because plugging in and learning is a big key to it all. Instead of popping in, asking random questions, helps when you plug in and you can hear the whole story. So with that, Dunbar, I hope that helps.
No, it does. It does. And something else you said something a minute ago, and I said to myself, I wanted to mention something about it. The language. You were saying like it's the language that we use when we're reading stuff. So guys, stop overpromising. Like, stop telling people we can do stuff. Like, we can't say that we can do stuff legally when we don't have any idea what the circumstances are. A lot of things come into play: the jurisdiction, the judge, the driver's record, the attorney that they have helping. Those are 4 major points in any outcome of a citation, violation, tragic accident. So
and state laws. Every state has different laws. So who are you? I mean, every state has different laws.
So we just have to get to a point where we stop telling people we can do this, we can do that. What we know we can do, right? What we know we can do is have an adequate attorney deal with the legal situation. That's what we know we can do. We know that we can get them on the phone with an attorney. We know we can do that, right? We know there's certain things that we can promise and certain things we can't promise. So when somebody says, hey, when road checks come, you're going to be able to get us out those citations violations. Oh yeah, of course we'll handle that. No, you can't say that to nobody. You can't tell somebody we're going to handle their road check citations and violations when you have no idea. What if the guy that's asking you that owns a trucking company, he got driving hazmat without a hazmat endorsement? Like I've literally prospect trucking companies where they are doing hazmat and the drivers aren't hazmat endorsed, and they're getting violations and citations for that. And they know that the drivers aren't endorsed, but they're still moving it because they want to get more money for the loads that they're moving. So you don't know how that trucking company is operating. So for you to say that we can help them when we don't know that, you're overselling, you're over delivering, you're over promising. Not over delivering, you're over promising and you're overselling, guys. So we got to stop doing that. We don't have proof on those things. We don't know how outcome of a ticket is going to turn out. And we do not know whether or not their insurance is going to be affected or not, because there might be something else going on that affects their insurance. And their insurance may still go up for something that has nothing to do with what we're even dealing with. So that's why we can't really make that promise, because we don't have control over those things. So I hope that helps. If anybody has any questions about that, just raise your hand or put the question in the queue in the chat, and then we'll get to those questions because I want to open it up because that might turn into a whole, so we'll rather just raise your hand or ask the question, and then we'll address the question on the call. So with that being said, I am going to turn it over to you first, Sharanda. Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
I'll turn it over to you anyway.
No. I was gonna say, and it was another question like on there today about a script. I mean, you can read a script, but if you don't understand that script, like you don't know why you're saying what you're saying, that script means nothing. So, so Lamar has a great script, but that script on this call has been taught how to really properly use it. Like, you gotta really know why you're saying what you're saying, because you can say the script, and if they come back with something and you don't know, man, it's just like you standing up there without a script. And I mean, and so we teach on this that you have to make it personal to you. But I will say about this script, you got to know why you're saying what you're saying. So Lamar has a nice script, but if anybody's ever read the script, it's just one long sentence, but Lamar makes it personalized to himself. Like we all have used it and had great results. But just screaming out, I need a script, and you don't know why you saying what you're saying, it's not going to work. So go back and listen to the coaching calls and kind of learn about the script if you want to use Lamar's script. So I just want to say that right there, because I saw that question out there today.
So Sharanda, do you want us to? I can pull the script up. You want to talk about the script real quick, or do you not want to talk about it right now? What you think?
No, because the person probably not even on the call. No, I mean, we want to share some teachable moments about some things that people who are plugged in. And I'm just saying, I just saw that out there. And
so how about we do this? Because I know I ain't going to get nothing but the truth out of you, no way. So how about we do this? If the person that asked that question is on the call, you raise your hand or go in the comments, and then we'll talk about the script. If you're not, then don't worry about it.
They're not on it.
Nope. So we'll do that, and then we're gonna go over our teachable moments as well. So I do have the script on standby. Just see, I know I got it on standby over here, and we can share screen and look at the script and do a little bit of dissecting on it. So we can talk about it. But I'm gonna turn it over to Sharanda so we can do our first. Are you gonna talk to TJ first, Sharanda?
Sure, I will. Yeah. So TJ's on the phone. Tracy, if you're on Zoom, can you unmute? Can you unmute?
Are you able to hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm just gonna cue this up because we don't have all night. So TJ, she goes by TJ. TJ has been plugged into this coaching call. TJ just leveled up to senior manager, so she can tell you how long she's been in the business. But TJ's been plugged into this coaching call. She's been plugged into the blitz that we host on Tuesday for the new people. We have a blitz that hosted by Solutions on Tuesdays. She's been plugged into the accountability call as well, and she has connected with me as a field trainer, and she's been just going through the process of how to work with the field trainer, which level 1 teaches you the foundation of that. So if you haven't taken level 1, you want to do that. But also she has just implemented a lot of things from this call, the accountability call, and utilizing the blitz. Tracy just opened up a group last week with 25 drivers, active drivers. I think they try to go up to 30 some, but they have 25 active drivers. Actually, the company they're paying for it, for the drivers, the CDL portion. And so just looked at the leaderboard. She is number 1 on the leaderboard for her first activity in Solutions. So she just opened up. She's just going to earn the bonus. And I'm saying this because I want you guys to know when you play in Solutions, I know they advertise a lot on the networking side with bonuses, and you'll hear from Jody too. Jody is, focused on solutions too. But it's a lot of bonus and solutions, guys. So if you really focus and, Dunbar can probably break down the numbers on all that, but you can make money in solutions if you truly focus over here. That same bonus over there on the networking side. So so just think about that. So with that, I'm gonna pass it over to TJ. Maybe just tell us where you're from and how long you've been in LegalShield. I'm gonna ask you a few questions about this group because it was interesting.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. So I am TJ. On social media, my name's Tracy Brown, and I am from St. Petersburg, Florida. So I'm here in Florida. And I think I have a couple other associates that are here in Florida also. But basically, I'm just surprised that all of this is happening. I'm trying to let it sink in. But what I did is I really don't feel like I did much other than follow the process. And because I don't feel like I knew enough to try to make it my own. So I totally trusted the process. And that process basically was me. And the other thing is I've been with LegalShield probably about 18, 19 months. That's how long I've been with LegalShield.
Tell me your background so they don't think you run a trucking company.
Okay. So my background is actually nursing. I'm a registered nurse and also did some legal nursing. So I got a little bit of taste of working with attorneys as a legal nurse and helping the attorneys with their malpractice and personal injury cases. So that gave me a little bit of comfortability with working with attorneys. And then when LegalShield was introduced to me from another legal nurse, it just sounded like a great transition for me. And I still can do the legal nursing on the side, but going with LegalShield gave me another avenue for income. And then it was shortly after that we had the holiday and we had COVID. And so I was just so glad that I had this other stream of income on the networking side. And I'm going to say it was probably, as soon as I started with LegalShield, I wanted to get certified in everything. I didn't know what was going to be my space or my area or if I was going to straddle the fence. I wasn't sure at the time, but I wanted to make sure and get all those certifications under my belt initially. So, but as it has worked out, I really have been drawn to the commercial driver space. I like it. I don't, how can I put it? Networking is nice, but I think this is a greater fit. I'll just kind of leave it like that. And a lot of you probably know what I mean on that end of it. So, so basically.
Let me ask you a few questions.
Sure. Okay.
Okay. So like I know you've been plugged in. So let's get to this group that you have now. Because, like I said, I'm queuing it up for you guys. TJ has been on my calendar every week with companies doing DM appointments. We went through the process. Now she's in the process of following up with them. But can you tell them how long ago you connected with this group?
Yes. So I'm going to say it's probably easily been 5 to 6 weeks of me talking to this group, whether it be the safety manager or maybe a relative of the safety manager or someone else in the company. There are times when they may have to hop off the phone. I may have caught them at a bad time and they'll, talk to me for a few minutes. But basically, I was on a long road trip, 18 hours, wrote down about 150 DOT numbers on this road trip. And this was one of the companies that I called. And so when I called, they were, very receptive. And it was through me being on a blitz, on the Tuesday blitz. And I was kind of going down my list. And this particular company answered the phone and they said, sure, I'll set an appointment with you. And that was my goal, was just to simply set an appointment because, and of course I was hoping, I hope they don't ask me too many questions. I know what my goal is during this blitz is just to get an appointment so that I can get connected between me, that individual, and my field trainer. So pretty much that's how I worked with the company over the last few weeks. Follow up, follow up, follow up. Even if they had to hop off the phone, I would make sure before I hung up that there was another date for me to talk to them, until the point where actually the owner contacted me through an email after things went kind of silent for about a week and a half. And he reached out to me and said, hey, you know, can I get a discount if I cover about 25 to 30 drivers? And I said, absolutely, you know, and then he said, okay, let's do it. Let's set it up, you know. So that's pretty much how but it was definitely consistent week after week. There was nothing rushed about it, nothing overnight. It was just following the process.
Okay, so I want you to explain to them how you said it went silent for a while. So tell them why it went silent after we had spoken with, I think this was the brother. Yes. And we really had his buy-in. He was really excited about the plan. Everything sounded good. I just want you guys to share this a little bit with my brother. And then, so we get on the phone with the brother finally. Right. And what does he say? Okay, so we get on the phone with the brother. And then the brother immediately said, look, I have LegalShield. I have LegalShield. And I just think, you know, and so, you know, Sharanda said, you know, well, oh, you have LegalShield. Well, you know, what was the problem? Or no, we didn't even say what was the problem. We just said, oh, you have LegalShield. And he said, yes. He said, but it was too expensive, or I didn't understand the pricing. So with that, it was important to find out what went wrong versus just saying, okay, well, you have LegalShield, and we just hang up the phone. No, we wanted to find out what went wrong in the process. And that's what Sharanda pretty much taught me is, you know, we need to find out, because when you have a product, you want to make sure that they understand it and that it's being sold correctly. And so that's what we did. We made another follow-up, again, being patient with him, setting another appointment, hey, you know, to connect with him to find out what went wrong. But during the course of all of that, he basically reached back out to us and said, hey. Absolutely. So in Dunbar, you can jump in. My point is that, first of all, she's been plugged in. Second of all, and I'll say this, Tracy's an urchin. She got to know all the facts. Like, she got to know why maybe it didn't go the way it went. She thought it should have went on a call. Like, when we hang up, you know, it's like she's itching to ask another question, and I'm ending the call, like, talk to you later, sir, bye. Before she can jump in, like, I can hear her getting ready to ask one more question, and I'm like, no. So she really had to learn how to control herself, because she's an urchin for real. It's like she got to know everything about everything, like why. And so, but you know, my point is that she's plugged in. We've done several DMs and had some great conversations with people, but she's never said, okay, I'm gonna just stop. She just, I just trained her to say, it is, you know, it's follow up. It's a system. The pipeline is filling up. And even when the brother said, I think my brother has LegalShield, and we talked to him, he immediately didn't have he knew the law firm, Riggs and that, and he named it right off the bat. So we knew that he knew what he was talking about. But instead of saying, okay, sir, well, I hate that, you know, happened, and I'm sorry, you know, it's like, okay, sir, I've seen your email. We set this up, we can talk. And, you know, Tracy, she was kind of nervous, like, this is going to fall through. Like, it's not, you know, he's not going to, you know, come and want to do anything. And then when she gets the email and they want to cover it for their drivers. So my point is, I try to tell people that I'm working with, you have to be patient. Like, first of all, these people are busy. Second of all, they did not wake up this morning or this afternoon thinking you were going to call them about a legal plan to help them with their drivers. They did not know that. It's you to have to show them what we have to offer and be patient with the process. Because a lot of people don't even know something like this exists, even though he did, he just didn't have a good experience. So that's why the questions about the script and these questions about what me and Dunbar just brought up. We have to be careful in the market to do it right, because this man had a bad experience with somebody. And, you know, they left him out there for one of us to come and try to, because his company's still bad. That's why she called him. She looked up the numbers. The numbers are still bad. So I'm just saying, I say all that to say, Tracy has been patient. She's doing what she's supposed to do. We gotta marry the activity or whatever it say, date the result, whatever. We gotta do the activity. The results will come. So Dunbar, if you want to ask her some questions, I just wanted her to get out the process of what she went through, because I know that through that process, a lot of times that urchin wanted to ask 1,000 questions, man. I had to just, like, girl, stop. But you can ask her some questions. I know you'll pull it out of her, but I just want to say congratulations, Tracy, for following the process. A lot of people will give up on it, or, they connect because they feel like they got a big group. And I got that going on with people now. But I just want to say congratulations for continuing to stick with the process, plug into the system LegalShield has, because the Blitz, and you can share, Tracy, what the Blitz do for you, because I know the Blitz for those people on that mastermind is everything to their business right now. So Tracy Dunbar, one of your.
Okay, well, absolutely. The Blitz I absolutely love, because even though I can't see everybody, but you feel like you have a group of people all making dials and calls at the same time. And, of course, they have a little checklist where you can check on your computer if you either made an appointment or if you just dialed. Even just dialing, you're giving yourself credit. And I think that's important, to give yourself credit for every single step, which is something else Sharanda mentioned to me, is to, like even the months and months of calls and other appointments, giving myself credit even for just going through the steps. Those steps each time is more and more practice. So yeah, the Blitz is great.
All right, good stuff. Well, congratulations, TJ, on a success. I know I spoke to you a couple of times in the past, and it's good for you to stick and stay, and been in for less than 2 years. So that's huge that you're actually, moving, moving, having some progress and making some calls and going through the ups and downs of what it takes to open up groups and move in that space. So what I want to ask you about from a different angle is, because I deal with this on every front, and it's that it's there, but it's still frustrating. And what's frustrating is that people just don't understand that having a coach, having a mentor, having a field trainer makes a difference. And it's like, you got some real, I'm trying to find a nice word to say. Some real, just stubborn people who just are adamant in thinking that when you use a field trainer, if you use a coach, if you use a mentor, if you use anybody, that you're robbing yourself. Somebody's taking something from you instead of adding to you. And it's, you work with Sharanda, and it's interesting because I just heard both of y'all stories. And there were some situations there where Sharanda had to step in and help the whole deal go through. And how do you feel? Do you feel like if Sharanda had not been there to work with you, that you would have closed this deal? That's one. And then two, what would you tell people who are like, well, I could do it on my own, I don't need no field trainer, because a field trainer just want to get some of my deal? Because that's the mindset. And it's a mindset. That's exactly what it is. It's a mindset of thinking that somebody's going to take, as opposed to adding value to what you guys are doing together. So if you want to speak on that.
Okay. I'm glad you asked that question, because I've even talked this over with my family. There is, first of all, your first question, I know I would have not closed the deal. I think it's extremely vital to have a field trainer, because there are so many things that the field trainer knows and can hear. They even hear differently. They're more, in my opinion, more conversational in knowing what the trucking companies where their needs are. I'm a little too fresh, too new to even know what their needs are. So having a field trainer is very important. Even if I had to do it 2 or 3 more times exactly the same way, and even if I had, I've even messaged Sharanda about this. No, I do not feel anything is being taken away from me. So whether there's a percentage or whatever, I would do it 2 or 3 more times because I feel like it's important, because I'm still gaining, because I'm learning. And I think what I'm learning is vital. Sure, there's going to come a day where I'm probably solo and, calling less or something to that effect. But no, when I say calling less, I mean, maybe needing my field trainer a little less, but that day is not here right now. And again, if I had to do it 2 or 3 more times the exact same way, I do it over and over again, because I think it's so important just to have that knowledge from your field trainer to get you through that closing.
No, and you hit it. Your last statement is very important, because that's the thing. We don't want you to call us over and over again. That's the whole idea. And it's like some people they think they got to get a field trainer. It's like, I call Sharanda, she helps me close the deal on January 1st. And then next January, you're still using. If you're still using Sharanda a year from now, it's one or two things going on. You either slow, right? Or Sharanda's a bad field trainer. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Like you shouldn't be using Sharanda still a year from now.
Right.
So it's like when I set up with somebody this is what I do when I set up with somebody. When I set up with somebody, so say Sharanda called me to work with me. I set myself up on their group for 6 months. After that, I'm off. I'm not getting paid no more. Anything that gets written after 6 months, because what I'm thinking is, after 6 months, you shouldn't be needing me to go in there and close more people. Anybody you're closing after 6 months, that should be you closing them. So I shouldn't be getting half of that anymore. And I should be coming off that group after a certain amount of time, because I should not be on your group 4 years later. Now, this is not no offense to any other field trainer, because I don't know what they're doing. But I'm not going to be on your group for 4 years. I got enough of my own stuff to take care of. I don't got time to be babysitting somebody else's group for 4 years plus working my own stuff. I'm sorry. So really working with a field trainer is supposed to be temporary. And that is why corporate only pays us to work with somebody
temporary
up to the 3rd group. After the 3rd group, is that correct, Sharon? After the 3rd group, they don't even pay us to work with the person. Because what corporate is saying is, after you help TJ open 3 groups, she should not need to use you anymore. So we're not going to pay you to help her.
They said go back to training, or like you said, either I'm bad or you slow.
One of the two, right?
But I will say this though, Dunbar, like like with TJ and a lot of the other associates, we talked about paperwork and stuff. And in the back office, they have a training on paperwork, how to do the group authorization form. But, I will say, Tracy, TJ is what you call it?
Urgent.
Oh, yes. So we got on Zoom and we did the paperwork. I showed her how to even to the point of LS at work. For those that don't know, it's a website, a software you get for your groups. We were on Zoom, so.
And Sharanda, kudos to you though. Kudos to you, because and I know there's field trainers all throughout this company. They just do it for them, and they're not doing that. Like, you should not be setting up LegalShield at work, doing the authorization form and sending that to them and having that, just have them sign it. No, you're supposed to be walking them through that so that they know how to set one up on their own. That is what being a field trainer is about. Field trainer is about showing you step by step exactly what I did to help you open this group, so that the next time you can do it and I can just watch. And the 3rd time you can do it all by yourself. That's what it's supposed to be about. So kudos for you for really just coming in and saying, you know what, I'm gonna Zoom this stuff with you. I'm gonna Zoom this group authorization form. I'm gonna Zoom this on this LegalShield at work, so that you don't know. And sometimes as field trainers, we want people to rely on us because that's our personality, right? We want people to be dependent upon us. So it's like, I'm not gonna tell them that because I need them to call me again. And sometimes, guys, it's not even about you paying them again. That's just their personality. They want people to need them. It ain't even about the money. It's just, I want them to have to call me again. I need my phone to ring and somebody to say I need help. So you need to be working with somebody that's really going to show you how to get to the next level, right? So, and that's the difference between somebody mentoring you and somebody coaching you, right? That person should be guiding you through so you know how to do it. So great for being a good coach in TJ, great for being coachable, because it takes a good coach and it takes the person being coachable as well for that to come together and work. So congratulations on both of you guys for working together, because who wins in that situation? TJ won, Sharanda won, and LegalShield won, and the drivers who got the membership won, and the trucking company owner who now has protected drivers won. You got 5 people winning in that situation because 2 people decided to come together and work together like 2 business professionals. Like you can't get anything better than that.
But those on the coach,
Any last words?
Those on accountability call got that. They get that too. I mean, we do that stuff on accountability call. We did that the other week. We went through some paperwork and documents, you know, for those that were on accountability call. Because I mean, sometimes, you know, they're gonna have to. It may be a situation they can't set the appointment, and they're gonna have to know how to do stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, you know. And a lot of them have been on my schedule and my phone is busy. Like I'm on my phone. And so they've had to move along with their client or their prospect or whatever. So on the accountability call, we don't just give numbers. We do some work. They figure it out. Because you have to think, it's a lot of associates that have never opened a group or had never looked at the group authorization form. It's a training in the back office. And people tell you, I tell people that all these trainers are in the back office, and they are. But, you know, we're on accountability call, so we go through that too. So, you know, I just want everybody to win. Okay, over to you, Dunbar. Good stuff, Tracy. Congratulations. Over to you, Dunbar, so you can talk to Jody.
All right, good stuff. So, Miss Jody, if you can unmute yourself and cut your camera on. I don't know if you're in a position to cut your camera on or not, but if you can, that'd be great.
Yep, I'm here.
Hey, how are you? Look at that truck in the background. She all set up.
That's right. Beautiful. Beautiful purple truck. That's right.
So anybody who has been on this call for any amount of time knows that you saw Jody go from not wanting to do anything, not knowing how to do anything, to doing exactly what she just did, right? Being consistent and persistent in closing. She even puts documents in the in a Facebook page now. So, and this is all cool to me. Like, this is all fun watching people go from A to Z, right? Because it proves the same point over and over again, that if you plug into the right information and you're serious about what you're doing, you can have whatever you want. Like, you can do whatever you want. You can have the success that you want to have. It doesn't matter who you are, where you live, whether you're a man, you're a woman, whether you're a man, you're a woman. But, you know what I mean? It doesn't matter. It's just about saying, hey, look, no, I think I want to do this. Let me plug into the information. Let me work with people, and then it happens. And Jody is a good example of this. We've interviewed her several times, and I reached out to her earlier today because I saw what she had posted, where she had set an appointment with a safety meeting, a safety manager who she had been prospecting for over a year. And guys, we always hear follow-up is key, follow-up is key, follow-up is key, follow-up is important, all that stuff. But remember, guys, like, immediate follow-up. Don't forget to use the word immediate. Because if I talk to somebody on Monday and I'll call them again for 3 Mondays down the line, that's not immediate follow-up. And follow-up does not work as well when it takes you that long. So it took her 12 months to close this deal, or at least get the meeting with the safety manager. That takes a lot of patience, guys, to do that. So I want to turn it over to Jody so you can introduce yourself and tell us kind of what happened, tell us that journey, so that people that are in the same scenario, following up on somebody and feeling like, man, I called this guy for 6 months and he won't answer, or I called this woman for 6 months and she won't answer. Well, guess what? 12 months you did it, and you finally got a response. So everybody, Miss Jody.
Hi, family, CDL family. So actually, my business partner is also on here, Bob Campbell, and he actually is the first one that went into the trucking company, and that was June of last year. So COVID, things are Jody, shut down. Yeah.
Just real quickly, if you want to bring Bob on, you can. So if you would like to bring Bob on, you can.
Okay, awesome, thank you. So Bob, if you're on, go ahead and unmute, please. You thought you were in listening only mode, but no way.
I think I'm on.
You are.
Okay.
So Bob, I guess, you are the one that walked into this building first. And so I will let you go over that conversation with Bruce that you had.
Actually, it was just to drop off a flyer, maybe it was one of Randy's flyers that we had printed off on either brake check or something. One of the programs that drivers were going to be facing, and met him, and then basically, but it had your contact information on it, and I just said I was dropping it off for you, and we went from there. And you've been making the calls and staying in contact with them. I don't know how many times, either you running over there, and it's a good 2 hours away, just so the people understand this. But you've been consistent, I think Robert said, and persistent, making those calls, and now you're in.
We're in. So, absolutely. And it was, we were trying some different things, and Bob, I took some notes way back then, and he would go into some of these places and say, hey, he'd introduce himself and say, I just want to drop this off. Our transportation specialist wanted me to drop this off for you, and would it be okay if she would contact you at some point? And they'd be like, yes, no, whatever. And so, and that was my my foot in. So I started contacting Bruce, and he said they actually usually do quarterly safety meetings, but of course with COVID, they hadn't. And so I just stayed in touch, whether it's an occasional phone call. I would send information from our training Monday nights, and I have an email list with all the people that I've met with, and just send the information out. And I also would stop in if I was in the area, and I stopped in to introduce myself, and the one time he wasn't there, no big deal, and just kept introducing, and all of a sudden I get this phone call this morning around 11 o'clock in the morning, and he's inviting me to the safety meeting. So which was totally exciting. And I was just like, absolutely. And he's just like, well, I don't know if it's going to be worth your time or not, because he's just been very like, yeah, we can have you come in, but I don't know if you're going to get a lot of business and all the stuff. And I've talked to him several times, and he's like, is that worth coming down for on a Saturday morning? I said, any day that I can protect a driver is worth my time. So, it was just really a great conversation this morning. And so I asked him what time the meeting was. He goes, it'll be at 8 o'clock. And I said, great. I said, I'll be there. And he's like, well, what do you usually do? And I said, if I can have a little, some time at the end of the meeting, and I can share our plan with your drivers. And he said, okay. He's like, we'll probably only have about 20 to 30 here out of about 60. And I'm like, that's fine. He goes, are you sure that's worth your time? I'm like, yes. I said, everything, it's all, even one driver is worth my time. So, I just want to make sure that, the drivers are protected. So that's really how this went. And it was just very, very exciting, because it was just totally out of the blue, getting that phone call. And it just goes back to what our field trainers are constantly telling us is, we put in the time, because it'll eventually pay off, and maybe not with a company that you're hoping for, but maybe another one. So the field trainers here are beyond phenomenal, and our Thursday night call is fantastic. And I just appreciate all that the field trainers are doing, and all of the other associates. The support is just excellent. So with that, I'll turn over to you, Robert.
All right, so I'm gonna ask you one quick question. I'm gonna turn over to Sharanda, and it's the same thing that kind of with TJ. And I know you just mentioned it in your last kind of your closing comment about the field trainers. Like you worked with some field trainers, even your upline, because obviously your upline is Rachel Lawton, which everybody knows is one of the strongest B2B people in the company. She's part of an organization or corporate. What is that? I think it's this 5 or 6 man team, the Benjamin Franklin organization, really helping a lot of what happens with business solutions. So we know that you work with your immediate upline, which is a business solutions professional. You work with me, you work with Sharanda. Like just for the people again, because it's a mindset. It's not a intentionally, I don't want to work with somebody, because it's more of a, it's more of a just a mindset. What would you tell a person on here who is thinking, don't want to use a field trainer because I don't want to lose none of my deal. I can do it on my own. There's not a whole bunch they can do. If they just tell me some things, I don't know what to do. If I get on these calls, I don't know what to do.
Yeah, I mean, because, and like TJ said, the field trainers can handle things, and they have that experience that, they can answer those questions. Or you might think that question is going in one direction, but the field trainer, they already know exactly where that's going, and they will handle that so quickly and professionally. And I want to say, yes, Rachel is my upline, but thing is, these guys are the CDL field trainers. And, it's just like, these are the ones that I really rely on for CDL. And, there might be other things that Rachel and I are working on. Rachel did help me with my, whatever, but the whole thing is, but, these are the guys that, because they're in the field all the time. The CDL field trainers are in it all the time, and they have been for years. This is where they've devoted their time. And they are the ones that I rely on for CDL. So does that answer your question, Robert?
No, it does. No, it does.
Okay.
It does. No, absolutely, okay. Absolutely. And really it did. And really for me, ain't no right or wrong answer. It's, whatever it is, like, because I'm a transparent about facts. And if you feel like working with us as field trainers, whoever you've worked with in the past, as far as the CDLP guys, because we talk about that all the time. Like you always want to ask the field trainer what they do, right? So because somebody like on the networking, on the business solution side of business, when I joined LegalShield, I was networking heavily for my first 7 years, right? My immediate upline is Mike Humes. Above Mike Humes is Darnell Self. When I wanted to decide I wanted to go into business solutions, I didn't call either one of them, right? I got a great relationship with both of them. I called Alistair Edwards, right? Because I know Alistair Edwards does business solutions, and that's why I needed to call, not somebody who's just experienced in the business, but somebody who's experienced in the area that I was looking to go into. And that's what it's about. So no, that's so important to be able to work with people who can really assist you in moving forward in your business. So Sharanda.
Well, kudos, Jody. I'm just so excited for you and Bob, because what I see a lot of times is associates give up, right? They don't understand it's a relationship deal. And I said again, people are not waking up thinking Jody and Bob, or Bob's going to walk in there and give them a piece of paper from his CDL legal person. Like, that's not what people wake up to every day. And so it's about building relationships, and in trucking, it's all about trust. And so this guy is more worried about what type of business you'll be able to get from his group. He don't want you to waste your time, because he feels like you've been to his establishment 1,000 times for whatever reason. And just like you're trying to look out for his drivers, he's feeling bad for you because he feel like you hadn't gained anything by just stopping in, not knowing that you're just trying to build a relationship. And I think that speaks volume for you. You've learned the process that it is a relationship building thing. And, like I say, we plant seeds, the harvest will come. We don't know how to look. And so, thank you for being consistent. And, at your safety meeting, you're going to go in and you're going to share with them what you have to share. And whether all of them sign up or none of them sign up, you still planted the seed and the harvest will come. And that's what I think associates need to pull from this, is that fortune is in the follow-up, but relationships are strong. It's important. And I know that you are persistent about taking care of the driver. So kudos to you, and kudos to you too, Bob, for the systems you guys have put in place to remove you guys out of the picture. For whatever reason, it works. So kudos to you guys.
Thank you, Sharonda, and thank you,
All
Robert.
right, so Bob, is you anything you want to add, Bob?
Yeah. Well, I just want to say, going back to the initial contact, it was at a time when neither Jody or I knew a whole lot about the CDL. We had taken Robert's training several months before, but we were just starting to do some cold calling. And it's been a fun experience. It's been a learning experience. We were talking about uplines. Jody and I are in different lines, and it doesn't matter. We have fun working together. And everything she said about the field trainers, I agree. If someone's on here that is fairly new and wants to do CDL, please reach out to one of the field trainers. It's worth it.
I'm glad Bob said that, Dunbar, because that's what people have to understand is, when you truly want to help it, it's not about who team you're on. You know what I'm saying? Or who you're partnering up with. My workout partner and I, we're on different organizations, right? But the field trainers that I have haven't been from my team either. So like you said, you went to Mr. Edwards. People have to remove some of this stinky thinking, as they say, and think about business. It's a business decision, right? Like, it's a business decision. And I think it's important that Bob said that him and Jody they don't have any financial ties. They just enjoy working together. And that's important, because they're out to serve a higher purpose. And that's the drivers and the community that they're out servicing. And so when you put those things in place, you'll be surprised at how fast those seeds will grow, because you have the right thing in place. That's it. I'm done.
All right, go just addressing a couple of questions here in the box. LegalShield is asking about walking in versus making calls, and we talk about that a lot here on this CDLP night, motivational sales. It's a personality thing. In my opinion, I think you can accomplish more walking in that. But there's people who walk calls and they close. So it depends on your personality and how much of that you're planning on. Belly-to-belly person, that's my personality. So because I'm a belly-to-belly person, walking in is better for me. Some people are sales people who can literally just make sales calls all day long. They can be on the phone, they can hammer the phone from 9, 10 o'clock to 1 to 2, 3 in the afternoon or later. If you can do that all day long, it's one of those things like Jim Rohn said, right? Can you outwork the other person? So I think whether you do better in walking in or making calls, I think it depends on that person that's doing it, right? So I may love walking in, but Sharonda might make more calls from home than I walk in places and close more people than me. So I don't think you can win or lose in either one. I think doing what fits your personality best is what's going to get you the best outcome. If you're a better walk-in person, then calling is probably not going to be as good, and vice versa. For me, I walk in better than I call. So it just depends on who you're talking to and what you're looking to accomplish. Sharonda?
Well, for those that have plugged in on the call in the last year and a half, I made the switch. So, and Mr. Childress, I'll tell you what helped me in that as well is, and I read this before COVID, but I really, really sunk into it last year, and that's fanatical prospecting. And if you read that book and follow that, you'll learn that prospecting, because that was me. yeah, I love walking in, and I used to say, oh, I can't do that on the phones. But I said that because I never really tried it. Like, I never did it long enough to know whether it worked or not. So I was comfortable with what I knew, and that was walking in. But prospecting is all that: emails, calls, cold calling, warm calling, walking in, whatever. And you know, if you can master just prospecting, then whether you're walking in or picking up the phone, it really doesn't matter.
Absolutely. Good stuff. And I know Michelle asked about the script, and it's 9:35, so obviously we can't do that. So Michelle, this is what I would tell you, right? We're going to give you some homework, and we're going to do some homework. So here's your homework. If you go ahead and pull up the script from the Facebook page so that you have it, so that you know what it looks like. If you haven't already, you may already do that, so that you are familiar with that script and what it says. But next week, we will dissect that script again. We've done that on this call several different times, but really, it doesn't matter. We can do it again because it's important. That's how you get into a company. So dissecting that script is very important. And I'm sure next week, Lamar will be on, and who better to dissect the script than a man who wrote it? So I can dissect it pretty good. I've done it in my live training several times. I've actually done it with him in a room. So he knows that I can dissect his script correctly, but I would still rather him be on the call when that happens so he can tell you the science behind everything that he did with that script. So next week, guys, if you're looking to understand the script better, because something Sharanda said, and I hadn't heard a lot of that being said before, but Sharanda said something really important today when it comes to that script. Reading that script and saying it is one thing. Knowing what you mean then when you're saying that to a person, that's a totally different thing. Remembering that script. This is not the family plan where you just saying the script and you don't really have to know what it means, because you don't have to know what it means to fight a traffic ticket. Everybody knows what that means. Yeah, you send a ticket in, the law firms fight it. There's nothing behind that, right? There's no veil. When you're talking about trucking and you're talking about things like this is what your customers and your insurance rates are based off, your customer looking at and what your insurance rates are based off of, you can't just say that and not know what you mean by that, because you're talking to somebody that may not know what you mean. And then they may say to you, what do you mean by that? Right. And if you can't answer that question, you kind of stuck.
You're done.
Yeah, so it makes sense to understand that, because what I've seen in this industry, and Sharanda will tell you that as well, is that a lot of times you will walk into companies and you will know more than them. So it's important to understand that you're going to say things that they don't understand, which is why Lamar has in the script, right, what he says about just so you know, or and as you know, right? And as you know, sir or ma'am, because you're implying to them that they already know this, even though they might not. So that's part of why the script is written that way. So we definitely want you guys to be on next week. We're going to dissect the Lamar Reynolds script and talk about how to use that properly to get into groups of any size, because small groups, people have said we've done it with small groups. And then our June, who we interviewed last week with the new 50K ring earner, he used it for that group, and that's a huge group. So it doesn't matter the size of the group, that script will work. So anything in closing, Sharanda?
No, but just tell them to show up next week if they want to know about that script.
Show up next week if you want to know about that script. So we're going to be dissecting that next week, guys. So you guys have a great rest of your week. For those who are jumping on the accountability call on Thursdays with Sharanda Ivy, make sure you're looking at your calendar so you can get on that. Don't forget, certification training, guys, the third Saturday of every week. So I'll be making the flyer and throwing it up there this week. This weekend coming up, the 21st. The 21st of August, you got Lamar Reynolds and Alan Roman, right? $200,000 income earner, $100,000 income earner. One been in over 15 years, one been in over 20 years. A lot of guys over 35 years experience, and I don't even know how many apps. I know Lamar's got almost 6,000. I know, I believe Alan has 15, 20,000 somewhere. Is that sound right? I know he's in five figures with his apps. And Lamar Reynolds is coming up on 6,000, guys. So you're talking about huge writers in CDLP space. So you want to be in that certification training, even if you took the one last month, even if you took it 2 months ago. Make sure you register for that before Friday at 3 p.m. Central, guys. Before
no
Friday.
Walk-ins.
No walk-ins.
No walk-ins.
No walk-ins. So make sure you guys are plugged in. So again, guys, Mondays, Thursdays, certification training this Saturday. Facebook page, put your questions, put your concerns. We'll talk about those there as well. We look forward to seeing you guys again next week. Thank you guys again for sticking with us. We'll see you guys soon.
Don't forget the Blitz. Yeah,
Oh,
don't
yeah,
forget
Blitz.
the Blitz tomorrow. The Blitz tomorrow with corporate.
11 o'clock Central, Eastern.
11 Eastern.
11 Eastern.
Sharanda. We don't meet this week Thursday, right?
No. We don't. We don't meet this Thursday for CD accountability call because it's going to be a corporate call at 9:30. So no, thank you, Daryl.
You're welcome.
All right, good stuff. Thanks for that, Daryl.
Thank you,
All
Daryl.
right, guys. Thanks our testimonies too. Again, TJ, Jody, Bob. Thank you guys all for being on and giving me your time and sharing your nuggets with us as well.
All righty, cool beans.
All right.
Yeah, send a few words upstairs for Haiti, all the people with the earthquake. It's really horrific. Just a thought.
Thanks for that. Thanks for that, Al. No. Thanks for that. Yeah, prayers for Haiti. Yeah, absolutely. And actually, I didn't know even what was going on. I've been kind of moving around. I just literally landed. When did it happen?
A couple of days ago, over 1,000 people, over 1,100, 1,200 dead so far found. Was a 7.1. Was horrific, and the storm is coming their way again. So
Wow.
Yeah.
Yep. I definitely send some prayers up for that. Appreciate that.
Amen. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. All right, you guys have a wonderful rest of your week.
All righty.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks.
Jody,
everybody.
Bob, keep it up. Keep it up.
Thank you.
Have a great week.
Thank you. Have a great week.
Good one.